Today, in our liturgical year, is Good Shepherd Sunday. And of course, in our sort of social or civic year, it's Mother's Day. And every liturgical year, the fourth Sunday of Easter, the fourth Sunday after Easter, is Good Shepherd Sunday. But obviously, because Easter moves, it doesn't always coincide with Mother's Day. So, since it does this year, I was thinking a little bit about different images for God, because we've got two of them today. We've got Jesus as the shepherd, and then we can also think about how God, or Jesus, can be understood as a mother. So, first off, the problems with images for God or for Jesus. Jesus as a shepherd is a great image, but how many sheep did Jesus actually own? Right? He was never actually a shepherd. But we call him a shepherd, and he talks a lot about sheep, but he was never actually a shepherd. And then even when we get into, the life of shepherds, shepherds were revered. I mean, we've all heard these things before, right? Shepherds were revered, and they took care of their flocks, and they're wonderful. They were also, really smelly and rough around the edges and socially kind of outcast. Maybe not always the nicest people. So we have this wonderful image, but it falls apart at some point, right? And the same can be said, I think, for mother as an image for God or for Jesus. It's a wonderful image. And it's a wonderful thing, and I personally love being a mother, but mothering and motherhood and all of it can sort of fall apart. Because at some point, we will encounter someone, or we will be someone, for whom this is not a positive image. Or there will be some part of our lives in which it is, and other parts in which it isn't. I am sure that all of us know, and maybe some of us are, people who didn't have a great mother, or a great relationship with your mother. I'm sure many of us know, or maybe even are, someone for whom motherhood wasn't something you wanted, but ended up being anyway. Or was something you always wanted and never ended up being. Mother's Day is a wonderful holiday for those of us for whom it is a wonderful holiday. It is a difficult day for many, many of our siblings, and maybe some of us here today. So I want to spend a little bit of time thinking about God as our mother, and Jesus as our mother. Because all of our images for God and Jesus are helpful and instructive, but they all fall apart at some point. And I think this is a wonderful thing to remember. Because God is something so much bigger than what any of us can ever fully understand. God is something so much more perfect than anything that we can put in God's place as an image to help us understand God. So, what are some of the positive things about motherhood that we can associate with God? I know maybe this is a little weird to think about God as a mother, because we talk about God the Father a lot, and certainly Jesus was a man, and so talking about a man as a mother is a little bit mind-bending perhaps. But we have some really rich imagery when we think about God as mother, particularly in our tradition that sees the font as the place where we start our life as Christians. We are given new life, new birth through the font. through the waters breaking over our heads. We pass through the water of the font and are born into new life. God is our mother just as much as God is our father. We think of mothers as nurturing, as caring, as life-giving, out of whom we come. And certainly in the biblical narrative, in our stories about creation, this is who God is. And in our understanding of Christ's work on the cross and the gift we are given in baptism, this is who Jesus is, our mother. Now, another place where we might fall apart in our image of God, where we might be struggling with our mothers or our motherhood or lack thereof. I don't know about any of you who have given birth, but when I hold that tiny little baby in my hands, it's hard to not make some promises, right? It's hard to not be convinced in that moment that everything will be perfect. That this tiny little baby, okay, my little baby, this tiny little baby, you make promises to that child. In that moment and for years to come, and some of them are more easily broken than others, like, yes, we will play your favorite game before bed, but then we run out of time and I've broken my promise and I'm sorry. But we make these promises to our children, especially when they're so tiny. I will protect you from everything. I will keep you safe. I will always love you. I promise I'll never yell at you. I'll never get mad. I will be perfect to you. This is motherhood. This is parenthood, right? This moment when we first meet this child and we make these promises. This is exactly what happens in the font. We are born anew, and God in Christ scoops us up and looks at us, and with that same mothering love of those first few moments of new life, makes us these same promises. I am going to love you forever, Jesus says. I am going to protect you from everything. I will be with you always. I will helicopter the heck out of your life. Literally. Jesus will helicopter the hell out of our lives. Jesus will take that away from us. That is the promise Jesus makes. And unlike us, who even when we say these things, we know they will fall short some days, Jesus makes those promises and keeps them forever. On Mother's Day, we celebrate the mothers we know and the mothers we've sort of adopted and the mothers that, you know, perhaps one day our children may become, and mothering in all its forms. But here in church, I want to encourage us to not just celebrate the human mothers we have, but to remember that moment at baptism when God scoops us out of the waters of new birth and looks at us like many of us have looked at our newborns and makes us promises that are never broken. All of our images that we have for God as father or mother, as shepherd, as anything else you can think of, they're limited. They're limited by our brokenness, by our humanness. But those limits don't apply to God. So even as we may struggle with an image, as it plays out in our human lives, remember that this mothering God, who births us through the font, is not limited or broken, but perfect in every way. I want to close with a prayer by Walter Brueggemann, remembering that we cannot, as humans, have Mother's Day without children. You need to have someone to mother. Let us pray. We are children today of many mothers. Some of us grateful and glad, some of us cynical and defeated. All of us living lives that are pure gift from you and for you. As we give thanks for our mothers, so we think of children whom you treasure and invite close in. For newborn babies arriving in these restless days. For children loved and lost a while. For children born troubled and loved in their need. For children infused with napalm and shrapnel and hate and fire. For children who know the sharp edge of Pharaoh and Herod and 1,000 other uneasy men, of course. In the midst of this parade of innocence, we submit all the treasured children of the world to you, that they may prosper and that we may become more fully your children, children of your commandments, recipients of your gifts, bearers of your hope. You have said, let the children come. Here we are, yours, that we may receive your nurture and your discipline.